Hello everybody, welcome back to the Ultimate Goosebumps Man channel. And today I'm going to be doing an episode review for Stay Out of the Basement. Now this is a great episode. One of my favorites, I'm going to say right off the bat. Probably not my top 10, but I will say it's in top 15. I do have a lot of probably controversial opinions for my favorite Goosebumps episodes and what I like and what I dislike. I love a lot of episodes a lot of people hate, and I hate a lot of episodes people love, so we're going to get into more of that as I go along. But of course, disclaimer, as I mentioned in my Welcome to Dead House episode review, this is not an official DVD. As you probably could have guessed, this is a fan-made DVD by myself. Just something I made to look cool on my shelf. Because Stay Out of the Basement never got a original DVD release like a lot of the two-parters did. So I thought, why not make it, have my own custom display on my shelf. Just kind of go over a little bit of that just to kind of show it off just for fun before the review gets into deep. I'll probably get into a more in-depth look at all of my custom DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff in a later video. But yeah, it's of course designed after the original Goosebumps DVDs that were released back in like the early 2000s when they were starting to make Goosebumps DVDs. They took a lot of the two-part episodes like Night of the Living Dummy 3, Welcome to Dead House, How I Got My Shrunken Head, all those, and turned them into these really cool DVDs. And I also have the custom Goosebumps Season 1 Blu-ray. Sorry, there's a bit of a glare, but another thing I'm really happy about. I love these. These are really cool to look on my shelf. And yeah, again, I'll go into more in depth on these in a later date. But yeah. Of course, you're wondering why I'm showing this is because Stay Out of the Basement was in Season 1 of Goosebumps. I don't exactly remember what episode they are. I think they're 16 and 17 if I'm not mistaken, but I don't remember for sure. I'd have to double check that. But yeah, this is a great two-parter. Probably one of the higher budget, as a lot of the two-parters are. They're generally, high-budget episodes versus the single 20-minute. And they also are able to flesh a lot more out. Now, there are some cases in the two-parters where the first part really kind of drags on and then the main action doesn't happen until the second part, which kind of happens with this episode, but not to the extent that some episodes like Night of the Living Dummy 3 goes to. Now, there are some, elements in part 1 that are pretty good. Part 2 is arguably better, I would say, but yeah. So again, going more into the episode itself, plot, very similar to the book, won't go into it much. If you want to see more in-depth look at the plot, I will go to my book review. But for a basic plot, follows siblings Margaret and Casey, who are staying alone at the home with their dad while their mom is out visiting their sick aunt. And their dad is a botanist who does really interesting experiments down in the basement. And he's always warning Margaret and Casey to stay out of the basement. Doesn't want them going down there. And Margaret and Casey start hearing strange noises like moans and cries from the basement, and they want to go to investigate. And they eventually find things are starting to get really weird with their dad. And that's all I'm really going to say about this. All I said about the book as well. I just kind of want to give a brief summary so you know the basic plot of the episode, but I don't want to go too in-depth as to spoil it. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out this episode. It's really good. There's a lot of really cool practical effects in here. Goosebumps has always done a really good job with practical effects, and they look so much better than when they use CG because this is obviously a low-budget Canadian 90s kids show. So the CG effects are not great. They're very dated. Surprisingly enough, though, this episode has not used any CG effects, which I think is really strong. Same with Welcome to Dead House's episode. And it really helps that they don't use CGI because that kind of just takes you out of the episode. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool practical effects with the living plants in the basement. The plant with a face, which is shown right here. That's obviously a really cool effect. I think it's literally just a guy in makeup with a plant costume around him. Still looks really cool, though. The hand plant looks really cool. Guessing it's kind of supposed to be a nod to the book cover here. Maybe not though. I don't remember for sure it was in the book or not, but yeah, another really cool visual. the kid actors were okay. Margaret, her actor wasn't great. Her actress, I should say. She was okay. Wasn't terrible. Casey was not that well acted, I do not think. No offense to the actor or anything like that. But yeah, I don't think he was really that well acted. Can't really hold that against him though, because he's a kid. He was a kid actor at the time. And you know, generally kid actors aren't the greatest. Now, the stand-up performance, of course, is the guy playing Dr. Brewer. Can't remember his name, but he was phenomenal. Had a lot of really creepy moments. He was really well acted. He did a very good job at being scary and intimidating. And even the moments where he is more sincere with the kids, I really think he nailed that performance. One of the best adult performances of any Goosebumps episode. Probably rivaling up there with, what's his name? The guy who plays Mr. Mortman in The Girl Who Cried Monster. Eugene Lipinski, that was his name. The guy who played Mr. Mortman in Girl Who Cried Monster. He was also really good. I'll get into more of that when I review the episode for Girl Who Cried Monster. But yeah, as I said, the guy was great. And this whole episode just has a nice atmosphere to it. The basement looks really cool. I really like the fact that they have this, you know, really cool green lighting used. Makes it really atmospheric and kind of, you know, plant jungle-like. It's very different from the book, because in the book, the basement is described as having very bright fluorescent lights, like in a, you know, rainforest or jungle. It's supposed to mimic, like, sunlight. And it was bright white lights instead of green, like in the episode. But I definitely think they did the right choice going with green lighting. Because I think it works really well. It adds to a lot of the atmosphere when they go down into the basement and makes a lot of the more unusual things really stand out. But overall, I would say, again, probably about 9 out of 10 ranking for this episode. I think it was great. As I said before, better than the book. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So, tune in, because next video I will be reviewing the book for Monster Blood, which I've also read. So if you want to hear my thoughts about that, make sure to subscribe if you want to see all my content, and leave a like and comment if you want. But I hope you all have a scary day, and I'll see you next time.